Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Oxygen Not Included. It's time for episode 2 after the reboot. I'm sure you caught it in the last one, but we had some issues with the save file of last series that I recorded. And I also wanted to give you guys a good start with some decent audio. I apologize for the audio quality in the last series, but we're going to be doing a lot better this time around. On the last episode, we were working on building these algae terrariums in a way of producing oxygen, since we don't have much in the way of oxalite anymore. Just from a quick look around, we've got this one producing oxygen for the whole colony. So I have gone ahead and I have prioritized the building down here so that we can go ahead and get these 4 up and running. Now, I want to say these 4 should be able to take care of our colony fairly well by themselves, but I've gone ahead and set 4 more to build on the other side, while picking up all of this algae. Speaking of picking up all of this algae, I want them to go ahead and... oh boy, we have an issue here. While I was talking, Melody and Elvis both got trapped. They are currently suffocating, and I want to get rid of the buildings that's above each of them so that they can get out. And I want to prioritize that top priority. Where'd it go? Let's deconstruct buildings at a priority of 9. There we go. We should be able to get... okay, Elvis, you're doing good. While we've got that open, I do want to go ahead and sweep that out. And I know 9 is too high of a priority for this, but we need to get that out. Otherwise, it's going to be trapped there until we decide to build under there again. And algae, as important as it is, we need to get that out so that we can keep these guys running. I don't want to have to stop everything and go pick up more algae, or dig out so that we can get to all that algae. And our storage compactors are filling up nicely. Let's see, how is our research going? We have 18 of 20, so today we will finish liquid piping, and we will start researching into sanitation sciences. And since that is the case, I want to bump up the priority to a normal priority on the supercomputer so that they'll go ahead and take care of that. I also need to replace these 2 tiles, since they don't need to get down there anymore. And in the last episode, I set the priority of these tiles lower than the priority of everything else around it so that they can go ahead and build on top of it. I was attempting to keep them from suffocating, but looking at it, I may be best off going ahead and letting them dig that out. And I want to drop the priority on this digging down. They can get to that later. Okay, what are you? Okay, don't have any fabrications queued up just yet. Let's go ahead and set that to fabricate. How is our water doing over here? It's doing okay, but very soon it's going to become out of reach for our little duplicants, so I'm going to go ahead and take that top block off. If I take off both blocks, it'll start flowing down, and that's not quite what I want just yet. Let's take a look at our oxygen. Good, we've got a fair amount of oxygen here, and it should be flowing up. In our next set of research, we've got our air deodorizer, which is going to come in handy for getting rid of that contaminated oxygen. And I'm not sure that I want to go ahead and get to this mesh tile. That is gas and water permeable, but I may want to go ahead and get into the plain old permeable tile over here in the gas piping. That'll let gas through. But I'm going to go ahead and let this finish up before I do that. Look at these guys working so hard. I'm proud of you. You know what? We're not doing so bad on copper and things, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that digging. And I do want them to go ahead and sweep that meal lice up. Ooh. We've got a new little friend down here, and by friend I mean enemy. This hatch, they consume any minerals within reach that fits into its mouth. As far as I know, it doesn't put anything off, but in a former colony, I have had them eat my duplicants, so I don't want that. I do kind of want to go ahead and break into this so that we can take care of him so he doesn't eat too many resources. I think our biggest priority is to get rid of him as soon as we break into that. I do believe it'll be a little while before we break into there, because I don't want to do anything with this water. I don't want it to go anywhere. There you go. And they're nocturnal. I forgot to mention that. The night is the worst time to get attacked. It's your duplicants, unless they're an early riser or a night owl, will not do anything during the night, except for attack. And then I learned that the hard way. You can actually get them to attack during the night, and I do believe it's solely because of this hatch. So I've bumped up the priority here, so they'll go ahead and take care of these algae terrariums. Oxygen is, once again, a fairly big deal. We want them to have enough air to survive. As soon as we research those gas permeable tiles, though, I'm going to see what I can do about getting the carbon dioxide to drift down there. Following my theory about how the gas and water flow, you notice there's not a huge accumulation of carbon dioxide on this level or this level, even though this one is arguably the most carbon dioxide producing area. And even over here at the outhouse, it's not doing too terribly bad. Now, I do want to get this oxygen up here, and it is 1.2 kilograms versus the 400 grams, or 0.4 kilograms of this area. It's breathable, but it's barely breathable. There we go. These all should be very happy. Let's see. Okay, so no research pending. That means it finished our last sets of research, giving us the liquid pipe bridge, the liquid pipe, the liquid pump, and liquid vent, and our sanitation sciences, which gave us the air deodorizer, the lavatory, the hand sanitizer, which I have never used. I haven't run into much bleachstone, but you're going to run into bleachstone around chlorine, and I don't personally know how to deal with the chlorine. I do believe as you store the bleachstone, that chlorine will be coming off of that, so I don't really want to get into that right now. We've got the manual airlock, which I like, and we've got the shower, which I haven't found a good way to use just yet. We want to go ahead and select a new research, and this biodistiller will come in handy later. This water purifier will come in handy very soon. And I may go ahead and select the advanced air filtration so that it'll research this and then directly move on to the advanced filtration. Now, in the advanced filtration, we've got an air scrubber that takes the carbon dioxide out of the air and produces contaminated water. We've got the gas filter, which you put in just some piped air, and it will split one gas out of the other gases. So you can set it in a room that's got nothing but hydrogen and hydrogen and contaminated air, and you can sift out the hydrogen and pump it somewhere different. Now, as far as I know, this is currently bugged and does not actually split at all. So, not going to be using that today, even if we get to it. Liquid filter. I'm fairly certain that this has got the same issue. So, really, we're going to the advanced filtration for the air scrubber and not much else. And let's let it go. I always thought it was kind of funny that it requires dirt to produce research. How are they learning all this from just dirt? The intermediary research takes quite a bit of water. Yeah, we're definitely going to be disabling that building shortly after it finishes. I don't want them using any more water than absolutely necessary. Water is one of the biggest limiting factors here. You can produce oxygen if you have water. You can produce food if you have water and dirt. There's no good way to produce water. The only way I could think of is if they included when you burn the hydrogen you get water, but I haven't made it into hydrogen burning just yet, because mostly because I don't know how to handle moving the hydrogen into the hydrogen generator. It can be done. I know the theory on it, but I haven't actively done it yet, so there you go. Let's take a look at our new stuff. So we've got our manual airlock. We've got our air deodorizer, which we definitely want to put one here. And I really wouldn't mind putting one on the main level near the housing, or near the cots. Our plumbing. We've got our liquid pumps and pipes and showers and lavatories and vents. We'll get into this a little bit later. We don't need it just yet. The primary use I've seen it in, or I've used it in, is sticking it in some contaminated water and then pumping that through a filter into your regular storage. And let's see, can we... Oh, okay. Here's a puffed. What it does is it eats contaminated air, breathes out clean oxygen, and then it leaves the slime down here at the bottom. Now we can process this slime into algae and contaminated water. So these little puffs are very, very handy. You keep them happy and in some contaminated oxygen, and they will take care of you. Now I don't know of any way to move them from this area, but we can dig over here as soon as we're out of water to refine this water, and we'll also have a steady supply of slime. It may also be a good idea to put some unfiltered outhouses right next to them so they're happy and full of contaminated oxygen. We may want to go ahead and build a cot for our next one when he or she arrives. In the past, I've found that around 5 duplicants is the most manageable. So I think we're going to stick with that for a while. I also don't think it'd be a terrible idea to go ahead and put down a massaging table so that we can take our highest stressed individuals, currently Jasper, and give him a place to de-stress. So I'm going to prioritize that very high so they go ahead and get that done so we can cut back on our stress. I'm not entirely sure why Jasper is the most stressed. Let's see, that's Elvis. There's Jasper. He has dirty hands, he is grimy, and his sleep has been interrupted. So if we look at our oxygen overlay, this is not the highest level of breathable gas. And there's a bit of carbon dioxide there because that's where the duplicants sleep and they produce it. We've got a new duplicant. It's a good thing we went ahead and built that cot. Let's see who we've got available. We've got one vomiter that can't dig but can cook. Since we're only going to have about 5, we've got to be extra picky. And as of right now, we're doing okay. So I'm going to go ahead and reject all and see what comes in the next batch. It looks like we finished our research. No. just the novice research has completed. We've got one more before we get into advanced filtration. But that means we've got our biodistiller, which we're not going to use quite yet. We've got the electrolyzer, which I do not plan to use, and the water purifier, which we will use, and that means we can start getting over here to this contaminated water and that contaminated water. That said, I don't want to get ahead of myself, and we'll get to that when we start running low on water. I may go ahead and I don't want to dig those out, but I want a place for my duplicants to be able to go and clean up, since we've got, what is new here? The electrolyzer, that's what's new. I think it's under plumbing. Yeah, a lavatory and a shower. So I haven't personally used these, so it's going to be a bit of an adventure. I'm gonna try something here. Can I get them to build that liquid pump there? Because if I can get them to build that liquid pump there, there we go. If I can get them to build that liquid pump there, we can go ahead and start using this without actually having to break into it. We need to get some power down there. Oh, I think the power is going to be a bit too far for them. We'll see. We'll see. And it was under plumbing. I think I'm going to put a shower right here and a lavatory on the same level and have this pump out. Let's see. It all says unreachable. Let's dig it out and see what we can do. Actually, let's ladder it out. Yeah, I think that will be safe, and then dig out those so that they can get down in there. And I really should have put a ladder here. Can I not put a ladder there? Do I need to dig that out? I do need to dig that out. And once again, I'm leaving that on regular priority. Speaking of regular priority, let's put some tile in there for the shower and the lavatory. I mentioned before, but you can't run one of these lines through dirt or sandstone or really any material and it stay there, because they have to dig it out to be able to put it in there. With the tile, they can just directly put it in. How are we doing on food? We've got 9,000 calories. We need to go ahead and bump that up and see about getting some food in here. And let's see, who's our most stressed? Jasper? Still, nobody has any stress but Jasper. So let's take this and assign it to Jasper. How's our research doing? So we've got all of our percolation, and we are halfway to advanced filtration. They haven't moved over here yet. I want them to go ahead and take care of that. Let's take a look at the oxygen while they sleep. As you can see, it's starting to build up around them. Now, I don't think running to the restroom actually counts as interrupted sleep. That, however, does count as interrupted sleep. There we go. They should be able to get down there. No, it actually still says unreachable. So I'm going to cancel all of that. And I'm going to rebuild it right about there so that they can reach it. Get our liquid pipe out to the main backbone and see about getting our power out to the main backbone. And I want to prioritize that quite a bit higher than average because I want to close this off again. I want to close it off so they don't use this. I want them to use the big pool. There we go. I'm happy with that. Let's build in a tile. Earlier today, I mentioned you could select your material to build with. We have a ton of sandstone, and it's got positive decor. So I've got sandstone selected, so they'll be building tile out of sandstone. And like I said, I want to block that off because I don't want them. I don't want that to cause any issues. There we go. Hooked it into power, or will very soon. I wonder... I may go ahead and build a place for all that water to go. Oh, that's not going to be fun. That's actually not going to work. So get rid of that and build it about like that. And maybe give them a ladder as a way down. Cancel that. Put in a ladder. And I want a... no, not a manual airlock. I want to just go ahead and block that all the way in. No, I really don't want to block that in so they can get to the bottom. Or I could block it all the way in and just build ladder all the way to the bottom so they can reach everything. Let's see, how's our stress doing? Jasper is still ridiculously high. Now, I haven't personally done a whole bunch with maintaining stress levels, so I don't know how well that's going to work. It does kind of suck to be down a duplicant. Exhaling 2,000 milligrams of CO2. Is that average? That's relatively average. Let's take a look at our oxygen overlay. Okay. Our stress levels are going down. I wonder how long it's going to take for his stress levels to go down. I may need to go ahead and unassign him so we get some work done. You know, we haven't done any power research. When we're done with that, I think we're going to go ahead and research the power regulation and combustion. Looks like our power generation is going okay. We're not currently demanding too much from it. See, I think an issue that we're currently having, you'll notice that not really anything is getting done. Everybody's got their hands full. If we don't have somebody on power generation, we don't have power for the food and the research. But we've got 4 things happening here, 4 duplicants. We need a 5th just to get something done. Because right now the only potential work that could be done is by Melody here, who's been running on the manual generator when the batteries top off. Let's see how our research is going. I don't really want to essentially bankrupt us on research. Yeah, I hate to say it, but it looks like as soon as we're done with this, we're going to be moving into power regulation and give it a break for a little bit, just so we can get things done. Oh, we've picked up somebody to actually do some work because this is idle, the supercomputer being idle. Oh, that is nice. Actually getting some work done. And some relaxation. Let's see, how is Jasper's stress? He's still the most stressed at 12. I wonder if there was an attribute that I missed when I picked him out. Maybe he's just more prone to stress than everybody else. But I think that is close enough. We're gonna put him back to work. As soon as we told him to go back to work, he had to use the restroom. Oh, finally fixed that toilet. I hate to stoop to toilet humor, but, you know, sometimes it's warranted. Let's see, how long is it going to take for our next duplicant to arrive? 1,000 seconds. I mean, it's accelerated because we're in accelerated time, but wow, that's going to be a while. I'm going to build a purpose-built room, probably right here, for our carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide, since it likes to fall, will naturally come down here. If you look at that, oh wow, I can't believe that. It's got a fair amount of oxygen down there. It's actually doing better than the majority of the base. It also has more CO2. Maybe this will be our... Yes, this will be our dedicated CO2 generation area. So, preemptively, I'm going to go ahead and stick a scrubber. I would like to, but I'm going to stick a scrubber. It's going to pull that CO2 out and produce some contaminated water, which we're going to pipe into this tank here. Inside this tank, we're going to have a water pump, and it's going to pump up here to a cleaner and then back out to here. So it's going to come from this pump, go through the shower, through the lavatory, into the contaminated holding area, back out to a cleaner, and then back into here. We may not actually need a pump. I'm going to do a pump anyway. It just feels right. I'd like to get the shower up and going, because I feel like that would improve our stress levels and how happy everybody is. But we've got to build a holding tank for our contaminated water first. Speaking of, we may need to go ahead and set some priority on digging the center of that out. And I noticed this mealwood here is ready to harvest, so I'm going to go ahead and have them do that. Let's count down 1, 2, 3, 4, so there would be one level there. That would be the tile level. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would, in theory, be our new tile level. So... And yes, I realize that they can't reach that yet, but I want to get rid of that. And I do also kind of want to get rid of that so that they can eventually get down there. And I want to dig most of this. I don't want to go ahead and dig out that mealwood yet, because it is actually producing food. Oh, and we've got a new duplicant ready. Let's see who we've got. Destructive, and Vomiter. Oh, once again, not quite good enough. It looks like we're going to be stuck at 4 duplicants again for another little while. I know it seems a bit odd that I'm so picky about our new duplicants, but it's kind of a big deal. If we're only having 5, we need some good guys and good girls. Oh, we are definitely running low on some water over here. I do believe that's got a lot to do with the microbe musher here. It's consuming a lot of water. Our supercomputer's not doing too bad, but our algae does require quite a bit of water. It's crazy to think how much water we go through. Oh, and that mealwood is also ready to harvest. While they sleep, let's give Jasper the massage table. So when he comes back, since he's been working on the microbe musher, he'll get a good break. And it's morning again. Off we go. We're doing a lot better on food than I expected. A lot better on food than I expected. There we go. Since we're not focused on the microbe musher, we've actually got one person to go around and do stuff when they're not providing power. And Jasper's stress is going down, but Elvis's and Jasper's stress are going up. Eventually, we're going to run into an issue where it's almost impossible to drop the stress. Everybody seems to be stressed due to not being able to sleep through the night. That's not good. How about you? Dirty hands and grimy. So I'm not gonna fix the dirty hands. I'm not gonna put in a hand sanitizer, but let's hope the shower takes care of that. Since we're done with the shower and the lavatory, let's take a look at our priority and set a slightly higher than average for everything but the dig, because we've already got the dig at a reasonably high priority, and we do want them to go ahead and dig that out before they build everything else. And Jasper, I'm sorry, bud, but you are not going to get to stay on that massage table. We need to get some work done. Ooh. Oxygen is becoming an issue again. We do have plenty of good places for them to go and get good oxygen. I would, however, prefer that their oxygen was in the places that they worked. It seems as though the CO2 that keeps dropping down the shaft keeps getting replaced by oxygen, which is good, but it doesn't help over here or in newly mined areas. Newly mined areas, they don't already have any oxygen, so they're effectively vacuum. So the CO2 produced by them digging in there and breathing in there just stays in there. So if we look at the overlay, like we were just doing, this is nothing but CO2. It's not because it drifted down there, it's because they produced it while being down there. That's just how it goes. So we've got this chamber mostly filled out, or mostly taken care of. So I want to destruct the bottom two levels. They should be able to continue to build down there, and go to our plumbing and stick a liquid pump down there. So it'll be able to pick up stuff off the bottom and pump things up to, where are you? It's under refinement, isn't it? A water purifier. And at the end of that water purifier, we're once again going to go to plumbing and drop a vent, because dropping it right there is perfectly fine with me. But now everything needs power. Yeah. In here, I would like to think that they can reach all of that. I do, however, doubt that they can. It's this one specific area that I don't believe that they can get to. So I'm going to cancel that and then rebuild it. No, they definitely can. They definitely can reach that. And I'm going to prioritize that. There we go. And while we have them work on that, it's time to think about liquid piping. So I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go over, and the green is the intake. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to put that there. So they both have clean water going in, and they need a way to get rid of their dirty water. So it's going to go up and over, and up and over to a vent. Let's see. It's not under... Oh, I am missing some raw metal to be able to build that. So, I know I set the priority relatively high, and I may be starting into that spiral that I spoke of earlier about how you get into just this priority hole. Your priorities get more and more and more out of whack. So I'm going to have these guys dig out everything that they can. And we need a level there, so that will work. I realize that this is suboptimal for getting out the materials that we need, but for them to be able to reach the materials that we need, that's basically the way we're going to have to go, unless we want to also build at the same time. Let's take a look. That is just nothing but vacuum. Here and here. Yeah, vacuum. That's not great, but really that could be worse. What? I've had a duplicant that died? Someone suffocated to death? Oh no! How did that happen? Everybody can reach oxygen. If they were up here digging and building, they've got oxygen right here. It's a couple steps away and they're good to go. Where was he when he died? Let's see if we can find his tiny body. Oh, he was down here. Oh! I'm an idiot. How did I miss this? He literally could not get out. That said, he was the most high-strung of the guys. That's not good. Well, we'll deal with it and we'll move on and hope that his replacement's a bit... I can't say better because Jasper was good, but a bit better prepared. I'll put it that way. And I do believe we are out of things researched. What do we need? Do we need temperature modulation? No, we do not. Do we need pressure management? Not yet. Do we need gas pumping? I do believe that we're just gonna hold off on that a bit, just for the getting other things done sake, since we are now down a duplicant. Under decor, we can put up a tasteful memorial. I do believe we're going to go ahead and build one for Jasper. So, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but if you have a dead duplicant, there are these creatures called morbs that will spawn. Will just pop up out of nowhere and just start producing some contaminated oxygen. I think we're gonna call it there for the night, and I'm gonna see about getting this memorial up for Jasper in the next episode. We'll also do a bit more talking about morbs and what they're good for and how to deal with them. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.